North Carolina, bye week this past week. Drake Maye, bye week. Nate McCollum, bye week. Mac Brown, bye week. Cedric Gray, bye week. Out of sight, out of mind a little bit. There's been a lot that has happened since then. North Carolina State played on a Friday, nationally televised game, and switched quarterbacks since the last time we saw North Carolina play football. Duke played on national television, had game day, had a whole day, and guess what? By way of force, they might be changing quarterbacks. All since the last time we saw the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill play football. The Tar Heels were on a bye week, and they have to be shot out of a cannon coming out of that bye week. They have to be laser focused in, unlike anything we've seen this season from them. Crystallizing everything they have in front of them, right? There's a moment where you recognize, like, it might actually happen, right? There's a moment where you recognize your dreams might come true, and all you have to do is pour everything you have into it. Louisville, Florida State, and North Carolina are the only completely, not just in conference, but total undefeated teams in the ACC. You can throw in Virginia Tech and Duke if you want to go to just conference schedules. Not worried about Virginia Tech and Duke in a very precarious situation with their quarterback. Louisville, after watching them against NC State, I'm not particularly afraid of them. That leaves Florida State and North Carolina. You have the path to the ACC Championship game, and you don't have Florida State on your schedule, so you beat them in the ACC Championship game, you're on your way. Think about you can make some waves nationally. And by the way, that's the point of this entire season, right? When you have one of those rare guys at quarterback, you build up for their last year on campus to be a year where you do something special. And yes, conference championships are always first on the vision board and your goal charts, and that's what you mutter to sleep at night when you blow out your birthday candles. That's what you do. But then all of a sudden, halfway through the season or to a third of the way through the season, you look around and you go, wait a minute. Clemson fell off. Wait a minute. Look at some of these other teams. The SEC's kind of beating themselves up. Georgia's not looking like they're going to go unscathed, although they are at the moment. They've had some legitimate scares. Bama's fallen off. North Carolina, there's a path here. You just have to do everything you can not to squander it. And here's the other kind of gasoline on the fire, right? The one more log, right? You ever get that one? When you're having like a bonfire? One more log? Yeah. No one ever says no to one more log. And toss it on there. The one more log is you have Drake Maye, and we have not seen Drake Maye be his Drake Maye-est as of yet this year. That's not to say he's been bad. Certain advanced analytics like what he's done. He's 38th in passing efficiency rating across the entire country. But I have to imagine that he has more in him. If you're the second most talented quarterback in the country, which I believe he is, some would say the best. We had Tim Hasselbeck on, who's been a longtime analyst for the ACC network now. He called him the best prospect he's seen in 15 years. And then name drop Matt Stafford and Andrew Luck and all these guys that he didn't think were as good as Drake Maye. That was on our show. He said that. I have to imagine whether you're in my camp and you think he's the second most talented prospect in the country this year, or you're in Matt Hasselbeck's camp and you think he's the most talented prospect of the last 15 years, or if you're anywhere between the two of us, you have to imagine he's not going to finish the season in 38th in passing efficiency rating. You have to imagine he's going to get better than that. He's going to do better than that. So how far can you go? The sky is the limit. And I have to be honest with you. Every coach would tell every team, we can go as far as your hard work takes us. Most coaches know we can go as far as 8-4, right? It's like, hey, if things break our way, If we really put in the work, if we all lock in and focus, if everyone in this room makes it a priority to get better every game, we could realistically go 9-3. Like, that's most coaches' knowledge. North Carolina can realistically say, if we lock in, if we play our best football at the best moments, if we get a little bit of luck because everybody needs it, and our generational quarterback carries us, there's nothing saying we won't be in the college football playoff this year. And a bye week is a great time to realize that. A bye week is a great time to look at the surroundings and go, you know what? I don't know if there's many teams in our conference that I wouldn't take us against. I don't know if there's any teams in our conference that I wouldn't take us against. Now, all of that to say this, I haven't seen it yet. Right? I'm hard on North Carolina because I see more from North Carolina, and we haven't seen it yet. We've seen splashes. We've seen, hey, that was a really good quarter. We've seen, hey, that was a really good half. We have not seen them put together a really good game, and that's what it's going to take to achieve the type of goals that I'm talking about. You can't wait to get bailed out. You can't go to overtime against a group of 5 team, no disrespect to App State, but if you're talking college football playoff, there's levels to this. And oh, by the way, as an ACC fan, I want as many possible college football playoff teams out there as we can possibly have. I don't want it to just be Florida State, and if they suffer a bad loss, there's nobody else there to step in.
Like you mentioned, things are setting up perfectly on not only just an ACC skill, but a national skill for Carolina. And as you mentioned, we haven't even seen them play their peak yet. And I think the bye week probably was actually a good time for them to sit back, catch their breath, reevaluate, and like you used the term, shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Like this is a prime run that Carolina can make. I know that it's not going to be easy because Duke is not going to be a pushover.
Your schedule is your schedule.
Yeah, Duke's not going to be a pushover. Rivalry game with NC State, even though NC State might not be as good this year, it's still a rivalry game. Mm-hmm. You know what? They won last year's game with Ben Finley at quarterback at Chapel Hill. So it's not going to be an easy thing.
You throw the records out when it comes to a rivalry game, Dennis.
So they say. But nonetheless, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it's setting up perfectly for them.